Hi everyone, we're at Cathay Pacific on its second anniversary. It's been 2 years for Kraków. You may not have heard or not know. Cathay Pacific, one of the most successful airlines in all the rankings worldwide, flying to Western Europe and pretty much the whole of Asia. And I've got a large chunk of the Kraków team, the core team of Cathay Pacific here in Kraków. I've decided to engage them in a short conversation about air quality in Kraków, but before we get there, let me ask them a quick question. Where they come from? Where are you from? What's your name?
My name is Douwe Venema and I'm from Holland.
Okay.
Since 2.5 years in Krakow.
Right, thanks.
Okay, my name is Juran, I'm from Poland, originally from Opole, in Kraków for almost 2 years now.
My name is Ahmed, I'm from Egypt. I've been living in Kraków for 2 years.
Thanks.
My name is Martha and I'm from Krakow originally.
From Kraków. We have a local, that's good news.
My name is Wael, I am from Syrian and I'm in Kraków for 1 year and a half.
My name is Guillermo, I'm from Spain. I've been in Kraków like almost 4 years.
Excellent. You would have heard by now that Kraków for years has been the city which is pretty much stigmatized in the south of Kraków with the air quality challenge. For the last 3 years in particular, the city has been undertaking comparatively massive efforts replacing thousands of private household heaters. Statistically, now every year the city replaces 4,000 to 5,000 heaters, coal-fired heaters, into newer modern solutions. Plus, the city now has the largest number of electric buses, hybrid buses. It's restricting the zone of car traffic in the city and undertaking multiple other initiatives. It all started with activist bottom-up movements, people essentially getting annoyed that the air quality is a major challenge and not enough is being done. So I want to ask you come from different backgrounds. Which of your countries is really or has experienced air quality problem, and who believes that it's really an awareness issue in your country that should be addressed more seriously? Is that the case?
I think in my country we have some places where there is some pollution, but it's not caused by coal. It's caused mostly because of factories. For example, in the west, there is a part where it's a factory, like almost nuclear plant, and there are many like residues on the air. They wanted to close it, but they will not close it until the next 50 years. So this is a big problem as well. In the southwest, we have also some problems with sulfur. Yeah, sulfur. Yeah, and it smells. You go there. I've been there to that region, and you go there. You're on the car, and you feel it. You feel this smell is horrible. It's worse than here. I can tell you. Yeah.
What about the rest of you? Anyone facing challenges of any kind? I'm pretty sure Egypt doesn't face such serious quality. What's it like to be in Kraków in winter?
First, it's very cold, but what I noticed that in the first few months in the winter here in Kraków, I saw that it's normal fog. Then later I understand that it's not like that.
Well, sometimes it is actually fog. It's not always smog. Yeah. That's the reason why the word smog is basically consists of the word fog also.
Yes. Yeah, for me it's quite challenging, and for me also it affected my health in somehow.
How? Can you give examples? Is it a breathing issue, or is it a temperature issue? Is it?
In starting in November, like last November, I had to go to the hospital or like to clinic, and for me it was the first time to have the inhaler.
All right.
So it's really affected my health by the smog. Back in Egypt, we do have industrial air pollution, but it's only restricted to the factory zones. Mm-hmm. But in the normal places, or let's say the places that most of the people live, we don't have such problem. Of course, we have problems with the water pollution, but this is something else.
Excellent, thank you. Syria obviously is facing much more challenging issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have something else now to take care of. Yes. However, I think regarding the pollution here, I'm here in Kraków for 1 year and a half, and before that 3 years in Poznan. In Poznan, I did not have the same situation like in Kraków, because I'm used before I sleep to change the air of the room. So just to open the window or the door before I sleep. Exactly. So here in Kraków, when I came here, in Poznan, there were no
So when you ventilate here in Kraków, it automatically puts you to sleep.
Exactly. So I open the door to have fresh air, and I smell something very bad. And I just close it because it seems inside the room is more clean than outside the room, because I smell the coal everywhere, and I cannot differentiate between the fog and the smog. Both of them, they look the same, and sometimes I go out and I need to cover. I try to buy a mask, anti-smog, but it's also difficult to get a good mask, because when I went to the pharmacy, they said if you want a good one, you need to order one.
Yeah.
And or you'll just put something.
So I'm going to ask you about awareness. Do you have any favorite sport discipline outdoors? For instance, do you like running?
Not really. I'm going to the gym, so indoors. Yes.
Indoors, but those gyms generally don't have sophisticated filtering systems, so it's just like running outside.
Exactly.
Better or a bit worse depending on the conditions.
But I feel it's sometimes not a good idea to run in the smog and smell the smog.
But do you check air quality like on a regular basis? Because you would have noticed, for instance, today air quality is really not good, even though it will improve because it's snowing, so it will purify the air a little. But the air quality now, the average in Kraków is 120 PM10, which is pretty high. The daily limit for PM10 is 50. In total.
I think there should be more awareness, like public awareness. Sometimes I see in the trams they write something about the smog, but it seems like not in English. So for the foreigners, it will be more difficult if they don't know Polish how to understand what's the situation. So maybe if it's if the institutions who are taking care of this will make it more clear to the people that today it's high, so you need to be careful, because
at the end of this short broadcast, I'm going to ask you about one single idea that you think the city like Kraków, with its potential, with its international exposure, should do. So think about it now, and let me just come back to the Polish perspective. Marta here has just bumped into me quite spontaneously. She tells me I was the most stressful lecturer back at the university. But she promised she would not elaborate on that. So, Marta, from the local Kraków perspective, can you think of something positive? Looking back, you've lived here since childhood, basically. You're a Krakowian, or you moved to Krakow?
Yes, I am Krakowian. And what I can tell you, well,
positive developments?
I would say that it's better now, because they really took care. Let's say they started to doing something about it. But to be honest, it's quite scary, because I was living in Beijing for 2 years, and before I was going to Beijing, I've heard that Beijing is the most polluted city in the whole world. But when I was there, the difference was not that considerable, I would say. So it's quite scary that my home city is pretty much like Beijing, really polluted. So when you go outside, you for example in Beijing, it was hard for me that you had a headache sometimes when the air was very bad. So it happens sometimes in Krakow too, and for me, it's quite sad and quite scary.
That's essentially what happens when you ask a former student to say something positive about that.
I tried my best.
Thank you very much, Marta. Jurand, all hope is on you, like in the Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Show us the Frodo factor here.
So positives.
Do you like Kraków?
I do.
I love this city, despite the fact that...
I do love it too.
Everyone does.
I do love the city. I actually wanted to move here, so it was one of the reasons why.
Move here from?
From Opole, because I originally come from Opole. Opole is actually facing similar problems when it comes to pollution, because I do have those mobile applications where you can check the quality of the air, and I actually do it on a daily basis. Sometimes I also have these like notifications coming up when the limits are kind of going overboard. And so I know that Opole also faces that, maybe not in such a huge extent as in Kraków, but it is actually a Polish situation now, not only local, let's say. But when it comes to Kraków, I don't know. I know that I felt the difference in the air. I had to buy an anti-smoke mask. I'm actually using it on a daily basis, especially when I have these, alarms ticking off. But I can see those this kind of movement and all of these actions that the city is trying to to start and to basically improve the daily life. I've seen, for example, Wael said about these notifications on the buses that or some warnings that the air quality is not that good. I have actually seen these like little LED screens that you have put around the city, which actually shows that today the air is good, today the air is bad, right? So it is, I think it is a good way of raising the awareness.
Would you agree that, because well, one of the ironies is that you will surely all of us agree, I'm pretty sure, that sometimes good things in life start with really nasty things. Like you really have to have a hard experience to learn something very positive. And in that sense, the fact that you have over 1,000 sensors established by a single startup from Kraków early, it all started because of the Kraków experience. So you would have read on Kraków 02 that we sometimes use the red ring hashtag, which means the municipalities around Kraków. Kraków is coming close to replacing all of the coal-fired heaters, private coal-fired heaters now. It was over 24,000 if I'm not mistaken, and it's subsidizing those replacements till the end of the year. It's like 60% money can be recovered, reimbursed if you do that. So would you agree that it's really possible that in 2-3 years from now, just other cities will be essentially learning from Kraków how to deal with that? Because what most people don't realize is if you watch those maps, those sensor maps, or even the official city statistics for air quality, you will find out that sometimes when you think you live in a small community in a valley, 20 kilometers, 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers from Kraków, you have beautiful mountains around you, and it turns out that the data shows you that the air is 3, 4, 5 times much more polluted than in the market square of Kraków. And that is something people don't talk about because awareness is really, really low. It's close to non-existent. Now, one of the ironies I told you about before this conversation is that you can smoke a cigarette, that you can't smoke a cigarette on a public bus stop because you will be fined. But it's okay if you use very poor quality coal in your household and generate huge emissions because of that. Finally, last question. Quick idea. One thing about Kraków you would change.
It's very easy to just rip out all those heaters.
Rip out all. It's happening. So you're optimistic, I hope.
yeah. But it's like you said. It's the problem is bigger than only Kraków. So let it be a start then.
Yeah. Thank you. Joran? One quick idea?
More green zones, planting some kind of plants that can maybe counter-react to what's happening now.
Okay, again, the city is lucky because the volume of investments for next year, for this year, in greenery is a record-breaking figure.
Good.
How about you?
I would say that...
bring more sunshine, I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm waiting for that too. I'm thinking of going to Egypt for a while because I've really had enough cloudy weather.
Yeah, I hope so. I would say that the awareness is very important. I think that like some moves have to invest more on the awareness of the people because I think this is the most major like
awareness, education, things like that.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Marta, chances are you will say something
positive.
positive.
I think that we should just continue the way we are going because it's a good way and I can see a lot of progress. So just talk even more about it and I think we are going in a good direction.
Thank you.
Raise the awareness in English for expats. Yes.
Well, we have a proud point there. We're the first website in English in Poland about air quality. So that's And last but not least, news from Spain, where they actually have electric bikes in Barcelona that tourists can use. How cool is that?
Yeah, they are just doing that everywhere actually now. But I would actually create more pedestrian places for without cars. I think cars here in the city shouldn't be allowed too much. I would charge in the center, Casimir's, I would charge a large fee like they have in London for congestion fee. I would charge like a lot of that. And as well, I like what they are doing, this park and ride in the whole
initiative. Outside town,
yeah, exactly.
People leaving cars and using public transport.
Yes, I like that. I would like to, so they can make it larger in more areas. So.
It's been a real pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much for this live broadcast. Have a great day. Let's wait for this spring to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much.